Good day, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Catalyst Call, where CEOs of publicly traded companies are invited to discuss their current activities and up-and-coming catalysts. Today, we're going to be joined by Evan Gappelberg, CEO of NextTech AR Solutions. AR stands for Augmented Reality. The symbol NTAR trades on the Canadian Securities Exchange. Evan, welcome.
Thank you, Jan. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And I have to give you a particular thanks for, by the way, Future Farm Technologies, where I just learned recently you were a big part of the success and actually became a 20-bagger right before you left to start NextTech.
Yeah, you're welcome for that. A lot of investors made money on Future Farm. I did bring in the seed capital when we first took that public on the CSE at 5 cents, and the stock had a massive move in fourth quarter of 2017, first quarter of 2018, and traded to I think just over $2 Canadian.
Right. So I assume a lot of people made a lot of money, and I'm going to assume that they're going to follow you to your next venture, which is NextTech.
Absolutely. In fact, we raised $3 million from a lot of the Future Farm seed investors. They're the same group, essentially, that are the seed investors in NextTech. We did our financing at 25 cents back in May of 2018, so this year, just a few months ago.
Wow. Okay. And it just started trading on the 31st. So
yeah, we've been trading 6 days now since we've been public on the CSE, and I think we're averaging about 125,000 shares a day.
Yeah, it looks tight. It looks tight, though.
Yeah, there's not a big float. All the management has their shares escrowed for 3 years. Basically, all the insiders, everybody that's involved with the company is in it for the long term.
The long term. So AR, I'm a huge fan of virtual reality. I have a system at home. Every time we have guests, like one of the first things I do with them, and I always buy a new game. So now augmented reality. So what is it?
So augmented reality is when you overlay digital world on top of the real world. So you're still in your real world. You don't put on goggles or even a headset. You just use your mobile phone. And you're able to see AR objects floating in thin air, essentially 3D objects. If you remember the wildly popular app, Pokemon Go, that was an AR app.
Right.
And that generated almost $2 billion in revenue back in 2016, 2017. That was kind of the shot across the bow that kickstarted the whole AR industry.
Okay. And is this, and I asked you this before we spoke about a week ago, but, and when I Google AR, and I click images, it's mostly all on the mobile, on the phones, it's basically, is it on the screen or it pops out of the screen?
So it uses your camera, to create a 3D look and feel to it. So you're looking through your camera on your phone, and you'll see a 3D object floating in the room that you're standing in. And it's volumetric, which means you can walk around it. It's not a flat image like a 2D image. So you would be able to, if let's say we're talking about a cannabis bud, you would be able to have maybe a 6 foot tall bud in your living room. It's volumetric, which means that you could walk around it.
Really?
Yeah. You could get up close to it, walk around it, explore it. That's the magic of AR. It's a fully immersive experience, just like VR, except without the goggles.
Is this something I could download now? Is it like an app?
Yeah, you could download our ARitize app. It's both on Android and iOS. It's ARITIZE, and you will experience eye-popping, amazing augmented reality.
So I guess, how do you turn this into a business?
That's a good question. And we've taken the approach that there's multiple opportunities in the marketplace, but we're focusing initially, at least, on cannabis. We see a big opportunity with cannabis. It's the fastest growing economy on the planet, and none of the big boys are venturing into the cannabis market, which leaves it wide open for us. We're essentially the only company in the augmented reality space that's directing its technology at cannabis. So if you look at the landscape, you have big players like Google, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Snap. They all have some form of augmented reality technology, but they are not applying it to cannabis. They're applying it to traditional retail, traditional healthcare, traditional business and education. We're taking the same technology and applying it to cannabis. And what's so exciting for us about that is cannabis is the fastest growing economy. Everybody is well capitalized. If you talk to people in the cannabis industry, they're willing to try new things. It's not a tough sale to get them to try our augmented reality technology. And if you think about it, they're trying to augment their reality anyway.
Right.
So it's kind of,
well, how would that work with the cannabis, for example? I'm a consumer.
Yeah. So, for instance, we can create a 3D shopping experience for you. So just like I was saying earlier in our conversation, having a cannabis bud in your living room, being able to shop in 3D from your home, so you would be able to have a 3D dispensary in the privacy of your home. So whether it's a vape pen, you want to understand how the vape pen works, you'll see an exploded view in your living room. You'll see the different components of the vape pen. You might even have a hologram beam in and give you a tutorial as if you're in the store talking to a bud tender, except you're at home and able to get a full immersive experience that you would need to normally go to a dispensary to get.
Wow. And okay. Are you guys looking at other verticals or?
Sure. We're looking at the education market. So if you think about cannabis and training and education, it's kind of the same story. Everybody's trying to figure out, how much CBD, how much THC, what is this particular strain going to do? Is it going to make me sleepy? Is it going to make me happy? Is it going to keep me up all night? So those are a lot of big questions. What is a sativa? What is an indica strain? And so we're building a university, a cannabis university, and we've licensed a platform from a company called Etc. It's an education and training platform. It's the same platform that the Library of Congress used to educate people about everything that's gone on in politics.
Right.
So it's a very, very robust platform, and we're rebuilding it essentially for the cannabis industry and adding an AR component to it so that you can learn about your favorite strain and get educated about cannabis using augmented reality. So 3D objects, again, fully immersive. You're able to walk around and learn about the industry and cannabis like never before. I mean, it's a game changer.
Okay, so we spoke about this before. This is a Catalyst-focused show, and for this first show, you guys just started trading about 6 days ago. There's a lot of things we can't talk about, but there's a lot of things coming.
Yeah, there are. I mean, if you look at the press releases, I mean, we did talk about this etc. platform that we licensed. So that's the education and training. We have not launched the platform onto the market yet, so that's coming.
Right.
Before the end of the year, we expect. We also created a short video for Stephen Hawkins. It was something that we're very proud of, and we're a big fan of Stephen Hawkins, and we see a potential partnership with him and his brand. He's recently deceased, but there's millions of fans worldwide that want to get up close to his books and up close to the universe, and what better way than to use augmented reality, where you can have the sun and the moon and the stars all in an AR experience where you can walk around in a room and again, fully immersive, get up close and personal, and maybe Stephen Hawking is your guide through the universe. How cool would that be?
Really cool. This was done with IMAX?
So yeah, it was at his recent book launch at an IMAX theater,
right,
in the UK. So it was on an IMAX screen that we had our holographic demonstration, and everybody loved it. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So, anything else you would want to add? I know there's a lot of things you can't talk about, but in terms of Catalyst, I guess we could follow up timeline-wise in a month.
I mean, I would look at the press release we put out today, Jan. We announced today that we're going to MJ BizCon, which is the largest cannabis conference on the planet. That's next week, coming up, November 14th to the 16th. We're sponsoring an event there. We're meeting lots of brands, lots of potential customers. So I would think that if you're thinking Catalyst, after that trade show, I would expect that we would have some catalysts.
Things to talk about. Awesome. Looking forward to it. That concludes the call. I'd like to say, Evan, thank you very much for taking the time with me today. For the listeners, if you have any questions that we didn't cover on this call today, you can send an email to catalystwiregroup@gmail.com. And I would also encourage all the listeners to read the disclaimer and disclosure on our website, catalystcall.com. Subscribe to the future episodes, news, articles. You can follow us on Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube. And that's a wrap.
Thanks, Jan.
Thanks, Evan. Take care.
Yeah. Bye.
Cheers.